Okay, I'm pretty much fed up with the mainstream media. And the reason why I'm fed up with the mainstream media, even though I don't support Donald Trump attacking them, and I do believe that they have a First Amendment right, freedom of press, etc., but I'm very, very upset with the mainstream media. And the reason why I'm upset with the mainstream media is because I feel that they're feeding Trump's totalitarianism. We have MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all these major outlets that cover Sarah Huckabee Sanders every single time she does a press conference. A press briefing, excuse me. Literally, every time she does a press briefing, she lies her ass off. Now, the mainstream media is supposed to be, at least, philosophically, I mean, we can debate this, but the mainstream media is supposed to be a conveyor of facts, not a propaganda machine. Every time Sarah Huckabee Sanders goes out there and she starts speaking, everything she's saying is propaganda. Nothing that she's saying is factually, grounded or has any kind of factual foundation. Nothing that she says actually does. She will lie to you directly in your face and tell you that what you saw is not what you saw. She'll claim certain things are ridiculous because she doesn't have the ability to actually answer the question, or she knows it's actually true and she doesn't want to make Trump angry, so she just acts like the question is ridiculous. How is something that is actually factual or something that is honest, a fair assessment of a situation, how is that ridiculous? But consistently, these news networks are playing her consistently every single time. They'll sit there, they'll be in the middle of an interview with somebody else who's talking about things that we actually care about, things that actually affect us as citizens or people of this country. And they'll be like, oh, hold on, real quick, sorry, gotta cut you off. Sarah Huckabee's here, she's up, press conference, we're going there live. And it'll be like, breaking news, White House gives a press briefing. It's like, are you joking yourself? Like, are you a joke? Yes, you are. I'm sorry, I've defended the media against Trump consistently and I still will continue to do that because I still believe that what he's doing is wrong. However, I cannot understand how the mainstream media can continue to support the kind of stuff that they're supporting. One, everything they do is everything 24/7 is centered around covering Trump. Everything. They'll go and be like, okay, it's a sad day today in Puerto Rico. So many lives were lost. Oh, there's no food, there's no water, there's no heat, there's nothing. We'll be right back. Then they'll go to break. They'll come back from the break and be like, Donald Trump today said this. Donald Trump today said that. This is the same Donald Trump who has basically called them fake news, tried to destroy their livelihoods by going around and telling people that they're not credible, has tried to literally tank their institutions. And these are people who consistently continue to cover him. They tell you, and they tell me, and they tell the rest of us how outraged they are by the things that he's doing. Are you kidding me? We all know that's not true. If you're so outraged, stop covering him. This was a man that during the election season, they covered 24/7. They gave him over $2 billion worth of free advertising. They rarely covered Hillary Clinton. They would cover her for like 5 minutes and cut away and go and cover Donald Trump's entire speech for an hour and a half while he's just raging like a madman. Okay? They would cover that consistently. And they normalized him throughout that entire process. They wouldn't even play Bernie. Bernie, he was bringing in crowds sometimes bigger than Donald Trump's. They wouldn't even play Bernie. They literally covered Trump all the time. And now after he won and they see that the country's outraged, they try to feign this frustration and anger with him. It's not true. None of that's believable. They allow him and his subordinates to get up there and spew propaganda consistently. They'll cover it even though they know it's a blatant lie. And sometimes they're not even fact-checking what he's doing or what they're saying. They cover every single thing Donald Trump, even when he's not even there. If it's a Republican sitting there talking about Donald Trump, they're going to cover it. If it's a Democrat talking about Donald Trump, they're going to cover it. If it's an old friend that says something about Donald Trump, they're going to cover it. If it's his daughter that says something about Donald Trump, they're going to cover it. Every single person, anybody who wants to get attention from the mainstream media, talk about Donald Trump. What they've done for literally 2 years has been entirely disingenuous. And it's time to start calling them out. It's time for us to literally go after them and start forcing them to stop this. They're supporting this totalitarianism. This propaganda is what leads to it being a system in which you cannot criticize the President of the United States, because if you do, your institution is going to be destroyed. How can the media be so spineless? I mean, these are spineless cowards. This is a guy who sits there and calls you pieces of shit basically every day. He's ruined your institutions. He's ruined your companies. He's talked bad about your own reporters. And you're still consistently covering him. And you're not even acting as though what you're doing is improper. You're pretending as though what you're doing is based on the newsworthiness of their ridiculousness. Nobody covered President Obama's press briefings this way. Nobody did. Nobody. And don't let them tell you that they did. They didn't. If they're so outraged about Donald Trump the way the rest of America's outraged about Donald Trump, they need to get their damn acts together. Stop covering every single thing that he says. Stop allowing his antics and theatrics to just basically plague your entire network. Stop being such spineless bastards and stand up for yourself, and stop letting him abuse you. And stop pretending as though you're not exploiting this whole situation for your own financial gain. We all know what you're doing. But you have to stop, because you are complicit in this. The platform that you have, that you can use to spread information to millions and millions and millions of people at a time, you're using it to further the Trump agenda while simultaneously claiming that you're upset with him. I think it's time for us to start writing those people in the media every time we see them put on Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Anytime they do, we need to write them and tell them to go fuck themselves. Literally. Anytime you see them covering Donald Trump while he's lying and no one's doing any fact checking after the fact, that network or whoever the host was, they need to get called out. A network that continues to just let him spew propaganda consistently and let his cabinet members or his subordinates or people of the Republican Party, whatever else, those people, any network that's going to allow them to go and say things that are patently false without being checked, those people, all of them, they need to hear from us. Totalitarianism is not like some far off illusion. We're facing it right now, and the media is helping facilitate that. We need to stop them. Till next time.